Dámy a páni, musíme sa vrátiť k téme, ktorú som otvoril včera. A robím to aj preto, lebo nemám pred vami žiadny rešpekt. Vôbec sa vás nebojím. A som pripravený s vami zvládať tento súboj tak dlho, ako bude treba.
I disrespect you and I don't fear you, says former Prime Minister Robert Fico to journalists. He continue in his battle with the media after he is facing allegations of corruption. It was journalists who pointed out corrupting behavior and practice of Slovak government. Maybe you are asking what kind of third world country was he Prime Minister of? The answer is Slovakia, the country in the middle of the Europe. He had to step down after massive protests were organized all around the country. There was an allegations of corruption before. But after the murder of the journalist and his girlfriend, people went to the streets, demanding the government to step down. The allegations led to the Prime Minister's office because his former assistant had an affair with the boss of an Italian mafia organization. But this is just the beginning of the biggest story. After the journalist murder, the police investigators opened the case, probably one of the biggest in country history. The general prosecutor announced the creation of international investigation teams specialized just for this murder case. After few months of the investigation, the investigators slowly started to reveal horrible background of the case. It wasn't the work of former Prime Minister that things started to move, and even the disgusting proposal of €1 million cash on the table for informations which will help to solve the case didn't work. After the series of arrests, the police has jailed 4 suspects: the executor, the driver and the provider. But what about the order? After police secured mobile phones and other evidence from arrested suspects, they found another person behind this murder, well-known businessman. His name is Jan Kuciak. At this time he already has faced allegations in other corruption scandals. In the early 1990s he was supposed to lend 60 million Slovak crowns to one of the best-known Slovak television, but the television did not repay it. Mr. Kuciak therefore brought an action before the court. The TV lost the case and had to repay the loan to Mr. Kuciak. But after few years and change of owners, they found a big corruption behind this loan. Former CEO of television and Mr. Kuciak frauded the TV station. He never gave those money to TV. Mr. Kuciak and Mr. Rusko, the former CEO, are now facing allegations that they frauded the documents. Mr. Rusko was also member of Parliament. After allegations of fraud, he had to step down from the Minister of Economy post in 2007. There is also another case against Mr. Rusko. According to prosecutor, he has ordered the murder of his business partner Mrs. Boltsova. Kuciak's business practices were the main topic of articles by Jan Kuciak, an investigative journalist from corruptetd portal, who was assassinated in February 2018. A few months before his death, Kuciak threatened to dig up dirt. "I will focus especially on you, your mother, your father, your siblings." Kuciak filed a criminal complaint against him. But a subsequent police investigation concluded that Kuciak's statements did not constitute a crime. After the murder of Jan Kuciak, Attorney General Jeremiah Chisnar ordered the case to be reopened, but the police closed it again and concluded that Kuciak's statements were not a criminal offense. Corruptetd has published a transcript of a telephone conversation between Kuciak and Kuciak. Jan Kuciak asks Jan Kuciak about his suspicious deals. Kuciak threatens instead of answering and insults the journalist. He tells him he's a fool and subscribe. "I will be interested. Mr. Kuciak, your mother, your father, your siblings. I will be interested in everyone and I will publish everything I find about you. Mr. Kuciak, you will be the first one," says Kuciak. Kuciak I know there is something else behind it, I just can't prove it to you, but if I can prove it to you, Mr. Kuciak, I guarantee you will stop writing because I will pill you." The phone call, which Jan Kuciak recorded, was made on the 5th of September 2017. The journalist subsequently filed a criminal complaint against the businessman for dangerous threats. But the police refused him without even hearing Kushner. The journalist also complained about the inactivity of the police on Facebook. On February 21, Kuciak was murdered in his house by 2 shots to his heart. The killer also shot his fiancée Martina Kushnirova with a shot in the head. Thousands of us have met here, but today I speak to those who are somewhere else. Mr. Fitzo, Danko and you and others, please go to hell. Let us breathe freely and let us live freely. Above all, put your dirty hands away from these young people. These people deserve admiration. They do things of conviction despite discomfort, their own time and/or bullying. They do so on their own convictions because they want to live in a better country. But you are attacking for fear, because you do not want to live with your neighbors in the jail. You are no longer convinced, you are just afraid. November '89, when we were standing on this square, and as you, Mr. Fitzo, threatened us that we do not study, that we are being paid by the imperialists, and that we are being organized by the Free Europe. Same situation as today. Only the imperialists have replaced your delusions about Soros. After the series of protests, Robert Fitzo stepped down. But the government persisted.